No, this can't be happening again.
What's wrong?
I received a hate message by mail. It said, "Non ti amo, I do not love you." I mean, what should I do? Should I call the police? Should I call a psychiatrist? Should I add it to my bucket list and take action?
Show me this note.
I threw it out.
Why? Why would you do that for?
Well, I imagined it was some childish prank. I mean, I do work as a receptionist in this hospital's pediatric ward, Dr. Moreno.
No, Tina, you're not my patient. You don't call me doctor.
Okay, we've known each other for years. We keep running into each other. Not once have you ever asked me to call you by your given name. I don't even know what it is.
Well, you know, Dr. Nielsen, Clara, my wife. Wait, no, she was my wife. I don't know what she is now. We're separated. She could never bring herself to call me by my given name, Francesco. She would call me dear, sweetheart, honey, but never Francesco. My wife, my estranged Swedish wife, the most beautiful woman in the world, demanded that I be like a Norseman or something. She could not even give me the right to call me by my Italian name. She would have preferred to have been matched up with some Norsemen. Look at me. Do I strike you as a seafaring warrior? A veritable Viking. I walk with a limp, and I eat spaghetti and meatballs with my parents twice a week.
Well, my husband, Tom, my late husband, he was 12 years older than me, but in my eyes, he was the most handsome man in the world. I mean, he was amazing. You know, people would find it more surprising. They'd be surprised to see that he was actually like, he rode a motorcycle to work, he wore a leather jacket, motorcycle boots. It was pretty amazing. People would be surprised to know he was actually a university professor who preferred books over handguns.
Tina, forgive me. I didn't know you were a widow.
Well, according to my father, had I married un overo italiano, I wouldn't be in this position, a widow with 3 kids. To this day, he insists I should have married his business partner's son.
No, your father had your best interests at heart.
I don't know. Growing up, my father and I, we never really saw eye to eye. He loved Verdi, I love heavy metal rock.
No, Tina, you can't fault a man for loving Verdi. His best-known opera, Aida, features live elephants.
Okay, well, who doesn't like elephants? I'm the bad guy here, not my father.
No, Tina, listen. Sending threatening or hostile messages by mail or email is a serious criminal offense. Call the police.
Well, what can they do? I mean, the note, it didn't have a return address.
Well, it was bilingual, that's a clue.
Wait a minute, so you can be bilingual and still be contempt?
Oh yeah, well, assholes come in all kinds of shapes and sizes.
Okay, wait a minute. The note, it had an additional message. It said, by this time next year, a lightning bolt will do you in.
Was it typed, handwritten?
Okay, what does it matter? Someone's decided that this being, who I refer to as me, myself, and I, will not be able to fend for herself nor plead for mercy. I don't want to die. It's not too much to ask, is it?
Tina, who would want to hurt you? You're one of the sweetest gals in this part of the galaxy.
Oh, that's a hyperbole if ever I heard one.
No, hyperbole, I will repeat it. You are one of the sweetest gals in this part of the galaxy.
Well, say it a dozen times, it's not going to erase what was written on that note. By this time next year, I will be dead, gone, kaput, capiche?
Tina, the odds of getting struck by lightning are like 1 in a million.
Yeah, okay. It's improbable, but it's not impossible.
Well, did you tell your supervisor you received a hate message in the mail?
My supervisor? No, she doesn't like me. She could very well have written it herself.
Oh, yeah, that woman does not like anyone.
Right? Okay, once she asked me to double book all our specialist appointments, knowing it would cause havoc, but she made me do it just the same. And you know why? When she looks at me, all she sees is, oh, I'm Italian. Even though I was born in this country, I did all my schooling in this country. In her eyes, I'm just a womp.
You are a valued employee at this hospital, a top-notch receptionist.
Dr. Moreno. Francesco. If you knew this was the last year of your life, how would you spend it?
Interesting question. I wouldn't change a thing. I don't need to travel. I don't need an adventure. All I need is love. Wrong. All I need is the love of the woman who left me for a man whom I imagine was a colleague and a friend.
That woman betrayed you, and you still want her back.
Yeah, like I said. Did I say it? Sex with that woman was to die for. I mean, my wife, and I will call her that, was more than ready to try the 7 sex positions. And I can't say I didn't like it because I did. But in her mind, doing the 7 sex positions was as good as it gets. If there were 7 other ways to say ti amo, she would not care less. Actually, in her mind, the only way to say ti amo was to not say a word. Let's do it, and then go to sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, you can also say ti amo with a box of chocolates, but anyone can do that.
Yeah.
You can say ti amo with a diamond pendant, but yeah, that requires cash, and not everyone has it. So. How does one say ti amo and it have an impact?
Well, be present and you stand guard. Life comes with countless dangers. Some are real, some imagined. But those lucky enough to have someone willing to sit next to them through the trauma of being attacked, being taken advantage of, humiliated or shunned, can override those bad feelings, at least for a little while, and focus on the pleasures of being a unit. And you hold hands.
Is holding hands the first way to say ti amo?
I wanna hold your hand. It's not much of a pickup line, but it can work.
Yeah, it worked for me. My husband and I, we used to go walking hand in hand. And I felt empowered. I felt like a queen. I felt like I had won the love of this brilliant and successful man. He had a PhD. He spoke 5 languages. He knew Latin.
Was he good in bed?
Why don't you ask me what's on my bucket list?
Okay. Well, you would like for your late husband to come and pay you a visit.
Are you telepathic?
I do know a thing or two about grief. I'm chief psychologist at this hospital.
If I was under your care, and I told you my husband had paid me a visit, would you think I was deranged? Lock me up?
Well, the dead generally don't knock on our doors and expect to be let in. Still, those who do are rarely up to any mischief. It's the living. They are the ones we have to protect ourselves from. All right. Listen, call the police and let's find out who's been sending you this hate message again.
Not all mysteries can be solved. Forget it.
Love, love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do.
Are you here again?
If you wish it,
Is it that simple?
it can be.
Growing up, I never had an imaginary friend, and now here you are, my confidant, my husband, my late husband.
TV shows contain characters you love but don't have access to. The dead are similar. You can take pleasure in their company even if they're not physically in the room with you. You're lucky you can see me.
Well, as much as I love watching TV and being entertained, given the choice, I'd much rather spend time with you. Cooking in a kitchen, going for a walk in the neighborhood,
Arguing.
laughing.
You cannot hear the sounds whales make underwater, but you can imagine them.
Well, imagining them wasn't good enough for you. No, you had to go on dangerous underwater snorkeling expeditions.
You
just
did
to
not
hear them
approve of
sing.
my underwater expeditions. Every time I left to go on one, you used to shout at me, "Where are you going? You must be nuts." You used to bite your hands, first the left, then the right, just like your nonna.
Okay, I'm cautious by nature, just like my nonna.
A real Italian.
Well, had you taken a few more Italian lessons, you might have understood the merits of a no swimming warning sign.
I made the Olympic swim team.
Back when you were still a young man.
Youth is a matter of perspective. The older one gets, the younger everyone else appears.
Once upon a time, I was happy. Now I'm not.
And what makes you assume that the purpose of life is to be happy?
Well, isn't it?
Don't you remember one thing I told you?
On occasion.
Get thee to a potager.
Potager?
Hilliard.
Okay, a vegetable garden. You speak in riddles.
Well, my prerogative considering I'm a ghost.
I refuse to think of you as a ghost. I see you.
Can't go around saying you see me, they'll put you in a loony bin.
Well, seeing you might not land me in the loony bin, but if I keep getting these hate messages by mail, that might do it.
Nothing will come of it.
Are you sure?
I am not sure of anything except except that I don't want you to wish me away.
Why would I? You were, and you are the love of my life.
How lovely. Now get thee to a garden.
And to think I thought you would have said, now get thee to a nunnery.
Well, highly unlikely considering I was an agnostic all my life.
Hey, is there a God?
Yeah, trick question.
How so?
Hey. I am what I am. A figment of your imagination.
A being capable of feeling.
Made to order.
And here I thought Mr. Sentient Being would assure me that death opens up the door to a secret garden and God welcomes you in.
You don't have to wait for death to usher you into a secret garden. All you have to do is open the door to the backyard, go out and do some gardening. Dig a hole and put in some tomato plants.
Right, like my father.
Well, he comes from a long lineage of farmers. His father, as a child, tilled the soil in the old country.
Yeah, once upon a time I thought of myself as Italian.
And what are you now?
Ah, to be determined.
Ooh, to think I thought you would have said, a citizen of the world.
Well, had you not died and left me to fend for myself, I might have amounted to something. But you did die. And now I'm what? Just another naughty child who craves her father's love.
On last count, you were a mother of 3.
I'm a widow.
Rule number 1, stop whining. Rule number 2, start gardening. Eating a tomato fresh off the vine is good for both the body and the soul. That's why your father grows them in pots.
Yes, I know, my father loves his tomatoes. But why couldn't he love me as well? You know, not once did he say to me, Ti voglio bene, I love you. Not once.
You can't force daddies to do their duty, provide unconditional love. Daddies can do as they please. Plants have no choice but to push themselves off the ground and give of themselves. They are selfless by nature. Daddies aren't.
But had I been a nice Italian girl, my father might have loved me, and then I'd be happy, more or less.
Well, it's hard to be happy when you blame yourself for your father's lack of love. It's like blaming yourself for a thunderstorm or a citywide power blackout. You can't blame yourself for things you can't control. You have to wave your hand and say, ciao. You have to say goodbye to self-accusation, self-incrimination. You did no wrong.
My father, he's not a bad man. It's just he's old-fashioned and I'm not. But if I hadn't insulted his love of Italy and all things Italian, he may not have rejected me.
Had you shared your father's views, he would have never picked me as your partner. A reckless, or should I say fearless, lover of books.
Well, had you been rich, you would have been perfectly acceptable to my father. But when you asked for my hand, you had nothing.
I had a PhD.
Yeah, and a hefty student debt.
Well, your grandfather came to this country with nothing.
My grandfather, no, he came here a common laborer, but by the time my father was in high school, he had his own construction company.
Ooh, a man with a mission.
My father, he worked day in and day out. Any time was a good time to make a buck.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Italians are expected to follow the 11th commandment. Love thy family more than thyself.
You know, my father, he berates me for not retaining my Italian heritage. But I berate him for being loyal to a country that treated its land workers worse than the pigs they raised. Italy just kept them in their place. The New World allowed them to thrive. I mean, they learned a new language, a new way of being. They did well in their adopted countries. Their children, they integrated into the dominant culture. Many of them, they became doctors and lawyers and entrepreneurs. Some, they assimilated. My father imagined that we could retain our Italian heritage and pass it on to future generations, but it was not possible. Not for me, anyway.
Despite your differences, you love your father.
Of course I love my father. He doesn't love me.
Thus spoke the Buddha. To end suffering, you have to end craving those things that cause suffering if you don't get them.
What if I can't?
Well, try gardening. It can do wonders for your morale. When you focus on gardening, you're not focusing on yourself. And when you're not focusing on yourself, you're saying goodbye to all that ails you. You're happy.
Oh, I see. So you're just trying to turn me into a version of yourself. Happy-go-lucky, self-assured.
Well, turn to a garden as a child, and that garden turns into a toy box. In it, you'll find lots of bright colors to brighten your day. Hmm?
It's not good enough.
Yeah. And fathers should love their little girls, no questions asked, but sometimes they don't. Those who weren't loved as little girls can either wallow in self-pity when they grow up, or they can turn to flowery substitutes for their emotional sustenance.
Well, that might be interpreted as pathetic.
Not by me.
What if I will never be happy?
The purpose of life is not necessarily to be happy, but to tolerate unhappiness and rise above it.
But unhappiness weighs a ton. How am I supposed to rise above it?
One good moment is worth 1,000 bad ones.
Good moments are hard to come by.
Miracles are hard to come by, but good moments can be had aplenty in a vegetable garden. Plant some seeds, and in no time they turn into food for the masses. Edible hope.
Yeah, but seeds, they need to be watered. They need to be taken care of. So do children. I wasn't taken care of, I withered.
Yeah, you weren't. In fact, what you should do, you should take pleasure in the grass under your feet. It's resilient. You can step on it and not be afraid to damage it. Huh?
What if I'm the one who's stepping on others? What if I'm at heart no good? What if I'm a bad daughter, a bad mother?
A meat-eating plant loves its prey and does not ask, is it okay to love that which gives its life? Of course it's okay. It's not asking for everlasting life. It's just asserting its right to be here. Oh,
Are you really here?
you decide.
Then you have no choice but to stay and keep me company.
Well, the dead can be a lot of fun to hang out with, but turn off the lights and it can get real spooky.
You said, do not fear. I will love you forever and a day.
Be brave, be kind, be silly.
I dare you to kiss me.
Ciao, Bella.
A love like ours could never die as long as I have you near me. Bright are the stars that shine, dark is the sky. I know this love of mine will never die.
In the evening, especially on a Saturday night, when everyone's out and about having fun, I long for my husband to come and pay me a visit. At times he does.
Well, grief can play havoc on one's imagination.
Hey, I may be dead, but not so dead as to be unable to speak my mind, capiche?
Those we loved and lost, they can't be reduced to figments of our imagination. They're still very real.
Oh, well, love has consequences. Can enrich your life, ennoble it, and then when it goes missing, it hurts. Still, you can't have love, or rather the lack thereof, to rob you of your self-worth.
I miss my husband. I can't I say it? I had the right to be loved by my husband, and now I'm denied it. It's not fair, you know? Nothing's the same. Everything's lost its luster.
Well, you had a wonderful life when your late husband was born.
Yeah.
Still, you have to concentrate on what comes next. Every morning, the sun's gonna rise, and you're gonna have to get on the business at hand. You will feed your children, and I will feed my cats, as if my very life depended on this one important act.
Cats need to be fed, ghosts can't take care of themselves.
You want me to believe, insist que la vita è bella, when my husband's left me for heaven, or who knows where, and now I'm the target of hate mail. Okay, I received another message this morning. It said, Zeus, the god of sky and thunder, will do you in. Arrivederci.
That's unacceptable,
Unwarranted.
unnerving.
Unlawful.
You know, I had assumed that my supervisor had it in for me. I thought she was the one who had sent me that message, but I had it all wrong. The woman offered me a promotion.
Well, then who could it be?
Okay, I've given the matter some consideration. My assistant, I noticed she has a lightning tattoo right on her arm, so it could be her. She's impolite, she's often late for work, she throws her weight around, and she told me in confidence that she was recently arrested for shoplifting.
Shoplifters confuse self-help with self-care.
Now, Tina, bullies empower themselves by disempowering those that they pick on. She could be the perpetrator. Don't be a victim. Tell Human Resources your assistant has a criminal record.
Didn't you once tell me compassion has no limits?
Well, theoretically, you can embrace the world, I'm afraid, but practically speaking, you have to protect yourself.
Dr. Marino,
Francesco, or Frank, if you wish.
Francesco, if you knew
Yeah.
this was the last year of your life, what would you do?
Tina, this is not the last year of my life, nor is it yours.
Okay, but what if it is, okay? Those who are religious, they have it easy. They can turn to God for comfort. But what about the rest of us? Who do we turn to when we know we're about to be done in? We see our life playing before our eyes. You know, if you're watching a horror movie, you don't like it, you can leave. But when you're seeing this movie playing and the exits are blocked, what do?
Tina, I forbid you to be unhappy.
Okay, being afraid for one's life makes a mockery out of the pursuit of happiness.
Well, being a mere mortal, knowing what's at the end of the road, does not make a mockery out of the pursuit of happiness. And why? Because they can't stop any one of us from having a hell of a good time. And as they say, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you will die.
Do you follow your own advice? Eat, drink, and be merry?
Yeah, back when I imagined Clara, the woman I loved me, I did.
Are you still in love?
Oh, as a cuckold, I should be furious. But I'm not. I love her unconditionally.
Being loved unconditionally, it's like winning an Oscar, a Lifetime Achievement Award.
If Clara knocked on your door, would you let her in?
Well, this one time, a few years back, Clara did knock on my door, wrapped in nothing but Christmas wrapping paper. What can I say? That woman was to die for. Or what really attracted me to Clara was the way she laughed. Oh, when she laughed, it seemed everything was right with the world. A cool breeze couldn't even compare to how breezy her laughter felt. And I miss her laughter more than the sex. Maybe not as much, but it comes close. When she laughed. All was well with the world.
See, laughing is not just good for the soul, it's also good for the planet.
Growing up, we're told to find a rich partner. And as we get older, we understand that a sense of humor, it's worth more than cash or good looks.
Yeah, well, Clara was a surgeon, high income earner, and to her credit, she's very, very generous. You know, she donates thousands of dollars a year to various charities, but still, when it comes to love, loving moi, she dishes it out very little.
Why would you settle for so little?
I dreaded being alone, and now I am.
So am I.
Well, you have children, I don't.
By choice?
Not by choice.
Well, you know, I imagine that my husband, Tom, and I, we'd make it to our golden wedding anniversary. When I see an older couple walking, hand in hand, their fingers intertwined, I want to ask them if I can run up to them and put my hand in theirs.
Losing a loved one hurts.
I know that. My husband, he was reckless. He drove fast, way over the speed limit, For some reason, when I was in the car with him, I felt safe. He was my bodyguard.
Tina, stop idolizing him.
Superheroes are hard to come by. The dead are good stand-ins.
I noticed you still have your wedding band on.
Oh, well, I mean, why wouldn't I? I'm not single.
Well, I flushed mine down the toilet. Bye-bye. Costly mistake.
A man without a wedding band is like a Christmas tree without ornaments. It needs to be decorated.
You know, there's a market for single men your age. Not so much for women of a certain age. My age.
Well, who wouldn't be interested in you? You're smart, you're attractive.
Whoa, this man's a flirt.
So are you. So, what does it matter? What is it guaranteed?
Hey, what's next? Give me a kiss?
Well, back in high school, I wasn't anyone's idea of an ideal match, nor did I have much luck in university. You know, I do have a handicap.
Oh, a handicap increases exponentially a man's sex appeal.
Well, in high school, I wasn't anyone's idea of an ideal match. I rarely said a word.
Well, why would you have to? The Italians, they speak with their hands. You could be any place, anywhere in the world, and be understood.
This is true. Everyone who's anyone they tried, including the French and the German, they tried to conquer Italy and make it their own. But they all failed. And the Italians, they learned a lethal weapon. Silence.
Yeah, coupled with 250 hand gestures.
Okay, right, you know what? The oh please gesture, the I don't know gesture, the I don't care gesture. The most famous one of all, you know what? What do you want? What are you saying, gesture?
Tina, you and I are alike.
Yeah, we're as much alike as a snake is to an eel.
We both married outside the Italian community.
My husband, he wasn't Italian, but he could just as well have been. He truly immersed himself into the Italian culture.
Wannabe Italians make ideal husbands.
Well, marrying outside your culture is, taking on a spouse's culture and making it your own is the first step to a good marriage. Had I traded my Italian roots for my estranged wife's Swedish ones, our marriage may not have been on the rocks.
Okay, nobody in their right mind would choose Swedish pickled herring over Italian pickled fish, array with saffron, scapece.
Oh, mamma mia, che buono!
So that's right. Well, Tina, I grew up in an Italian household, in an Italian working class community. My father, he worked for a landscaper. He pruned the trees, he mowed the grass. He wasn't an educated man, but he understood how the world worked. He taught me how to fend for myself. You know, I was 5.5 years old when I was hit by a car and left semi-paralyzed on the right side of my body. But my father did not allow me to indulge in self-pity because it would weaken me. And I couldn't afford to be weak as I would inevitably be bullied. Oh yeah, I had to learn how to take a punch. Having a handicap, I was at a disadvantage, but that's why I had to work twice as hard to prove my worth, and I did.
Yeah. Hey, both our parents were born in Italy, and you embrace your Italian heritage. I can't do it.
Why not?
Ah, silence is golden.
I should have shut up all my life. I would have been rich.
Tina, I'm a therapist. You can tell me anything.
He airs out his client's dirty linen for a living, a human laundromat.
What's wrong with you, Tina?
Well, had I grown up with my father's love, I'd be better able to deal with the loss of my husband, but I didn't. And frankly, anyone who grows up without their father's love, they turn into a barbarian. Maybe that's what happened to Hitler and Stalin. Maybe their fathers didn't love them.
Well, love civilizes people.
And it can also turn a frog into a prince.
You know, when my husband was around and I was younger, I was better able to deal with my father's lack of love, but I don't know, now that I'm on my own and a certain age, every rock I see, it just looks like an accident waiting to happen. I struggle to stay sane. I struggle to be happy.
Something recently happened between you and your father.
Something's always happening between me and my father, and it's never pleasant. Okay, last Sunday, at a family get-together, my father, you know what he did? He pointed at me, and he accused me of not teaching our kids Italian. And I was like, whoa, wait, okay, maybe he had the right to, because in all fairness, my kids don't speak Italian, but just the same, my kids were not the only ones who were speaking English at the dinner table. My brother's kids were also speaking English. Okay, maybe they do speak Italian or some sort of Italian, and mine don't, but just the same, my father, he singled me out, and it hurt me that he did that.
Well, anyone who was in love as a child ends up emotionally damaged.
But I loved you more than words can say.
Not as much as me.
Right?
You know, any love that comes later, it doesn't undo the damage. Even after doing everything right. I mean, getting a degree, getting married, having kids, having a career, doing it all, you still feel like a loser.
You know, did your father know you harbor such resentment towards him?
My father would say, I fed her, I clothed her. Why does she harbor such negative feelings towards me? You know, those who are victims of sexual predators, they can see the creeps locked up. But for those of us who didn't get our father's love, we can't resort to the courts.
You know, your father loves you.
You know, when my husband was around, I believed he did, at least just a little, but now I don't know. I find myself traveling back in time and turning into the scared little girl I once was. Slowly becoming someone I just don't like.
You know, it's possible to honor one's parents without bringing love into the equation. Anyone can do it.
But what if I can't?
You have no choice. You need to make amends with your father.
You know, my husband, he recommended that I take up gardening, one of my father's hobbies. Well, a couple weeks ago I tried my hand at it, and you know what happened? My father, he showed up at my house, and he laughed so hard it hurt. Ah, yeah. He looked at what I had done, and he said, oh, no, the tomatoes are planted too close together, the beans need stalking, the ground, needs hoeing. He took a shovel, and he replanted all the vegetables. And then you know what he did? He added fertilizer.
Your father has a green thumb, you don't.
Tina, when you're hit with the truth, it can hurt, but you'll inevitably recover. On the other hand, if you're lied to, you're scarred for life.
Yeah, it's just my father, he wishes I shared his enthusiasm for Italy and all things Italian, but I wasn't born in Italy. My ties are to this country.
Tina, is that all there is to it? Don't lie.
Well, why would I?
Well, this is not a therapy session, and even if it were, most clients avoid the truth.
Why would they?
Oh, some would have you believe that a therapist takes on the role of a father confessor, but this has not been my experience. Penitents seek absolution for their sins in the confession, but in my office, they seek sympathy.
Is it wrong to seek a shoulder to cry on?
Well, therapist's livelihood depends on the client's right to seek a shoulder to cry on.
Then I'm in need of your services.
Okay, no, Tina, I don't want to be a therapist.
Okay, why not?
Because as friends and colleagues, we can go out and socialize. But if you were my patient, we couldn't.
You would have to keep your distance, and he doesn't want that. This man is on the prowl.
Are we colleagues or friends?
Can we be both?
That's right. Patients can sue therapists for malpractice, but on last count, friends can't.
Dr. Marino, Francesco, I've grown accustomed to your counsel.
Well, one can grow accustomed to smog. It doesn't mean it's good for you.
I forbid you to be unhappy.
If only I could obey.
Well, the pursuit of happiness can be frustrating. There are a lot of impediments.
Tell me how.
Well, I can. Oh my, ask me tomorrow. It's getting late.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
You know, sometimes I wonder why my husband loved me.
Okay, why wouldn't he love you?
Let me count the ways.
No, Tina, it's a natural process to gradually forget those whom we've loved and lost. It's like the leaves falling in the autumn. They're supposed to fall. It means things are in working order.
Yeah. Well, when my husband was around, his love, it kept me sane.
Or sexually satisfied.
Okay. Does it have to be one or the other?
There are no wrong answers here.
My husband, like, he made sex a breeze. Every time he was loving me and tending to my body and giving me pleasure. He never failed to bring me to orgasm. Without my husband around, I don't know, I feel deprived.
Well, so what is it you want? To be freed from loneliness or lust?
Both.
Both. Well, Tina, if it's cold out, you put on a sweater. If you have a toothache, you go to the dentist. If you want another partner, you find one.
Okay, but you do understand that joining a street gang is less dangerous than joining an online dating site.
You might end up with a broken heart, but it's unlikely you'll end up with a broken kneecap. When your late husband's love was a weapon that armed you against those that would do you harm, you still have access to it. See, that's the difference between widows and divorcees. You look back and you remember how much you were loved. Divorcees look back and were spooked. Widows don't have an excuse to get hurt. That gives them the incentive to look for another partner.
My husband's been gone for 1 year. Do I have the right to look for another partner?
Absolutely.
I feel like I can't. I can't breathe without his beautiful love.
Oh, Tina, if you crave the safety of the past, go ahead. Kneel down and turn your late husband into a saint. But if your body is reminding you that you are a beast at heart, act accordingly. Find another partner.
No, I can't. I need a manual on how to stop grieving, because frankly, all the manuals are coming up short.
That's life. There's a time for joy and a time for sorrow.
Okay. I could tell you my husband's still in my heart, and that would be acceptable, right? But I want to tell you the truth. My husband, he's still around. He is. There, I said it.
I doubt the dead want to hang about and listen to our troubles. They must have better things to do. Besides, wouldn't you rather have a real man to hang around with?
Yeah, but there's lots of toads out there.
Or you don't need a magic wand to turn a toad into a prince. Everybody has character flaws.
Okay, character flaws, fine, but body flaws, those are out in the open.
Believe it or not, once upon a time, the most beautiful woman in the world imagined I was to die for. Oh, she admired this body of mine. She valued it, handled it with care. Oh, how nice it was for my body to be perceived as a means of pleasure to my pleasure-seeking wife.
Yeah. How nice it was when my husband, he saw me as a perfect 10, even though I was anything but. I mean, my husband, he could have sex anywhere, anytime. His enthusiasm never waned. I could wear my hair long, I could wear my hair short, I could shave my legs or not. I could be a slob, it didn't matter. Dressed, undressed. My husband complimented me. I miss my husband's compliments. I need your help. Take me as your patient. Okay, widows, we rarely get a second chance at love. Widows are normally just thrown to the wolves.
Okay, so it's an SOS.
Okay, but if you really think I have a second chance at love, take me as your patient.
Tina, you're fine. You don't need me. Get off your butt and look for another partner.
Oh, okay. Back in the day, nice Italian girls, they did not have sex before marriage. And if the marriages ended, well, then they were never to have sex ever again, like a virgin for life.
Tina, that may have been the expectation for your nonna back in the old country, but not today.
Okay, my father, he asked me he was chiding me for not wearing mourning clothing out of loyalty to my late husband.
Your father was influenced by his birth country's cultural biases.
Okay, so it's not his fault. I should forgive him for not loving me. I will blame Italy's chauvinistic founding fathers.
Understanding is not necessarily prerequisite to forgiveness, but it can help.
Yeah. Time heals all wounds, doesn't it?
Time heals nothing, but it does numb the pain. Time is an anesthetic.
Oh, an anesthetic. My father's idea of an anesthetic was homemade pasta.
Well, maybe so. All you need to make that sweet dough with flour and eggs.
Are you telling me there's 7 ways to get my father to love me? So if gardening doesn't work, I can make homemade pasta.
Hey, I like cooking. It helps me relax. But still, I can't deny that I can't get out of my mind that the woman I love left me and cheated on me.
Okay, all right, see? There. You see, you're stuck also, all right? The woman betrayed you. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. So you are allowed to indulge in self-pity, but you are not allowed to indulge in self-torture.
Ah, really? Okay, tell me 7 ways how to do that.
Number 1, remove the photo of the woman who betrayed you and broke your heart off your desk.
I have half a dozen photos of said woman strategically placed all around my house. Should I remove those 2?
Of course.
Oh, I can't do it.
Having those photos around, it's like she's still around.
I love my wife.
Your estranged wife.
Question of semantics.
Okay, semantics. Fidelity and love go hand in hand. You just can't have one without the other. You know, you are under no obligation to forgive her for what she's done.
I choose to overlook this indiscretion.
Indiscretion! Oh my, that's for a one-night stand. This woman has been living with this man for months.
I'm not a psychologist here, Lizzie. I have to forgive my patients for their bad behaviors. It's like a pattern. I can't help myself.
Take control of your future.
Easier said than done.
Oh my goodness. A man like you does not have to resign to being single.
I have friends. I enjoy the friendship of a woman such as yourself. You know, you're smart, you're playful, sometimes feisty, very aggressive. But let's get one thing straight. I love my wife. She'll come to her senses and come home. Tina! Clara hasn't asked for a divorce yet, but I doubt she will.
All right, okay, you are the injured party. You should be the one to ask for it. You deserve unconditional love. Someone who says, "Ti amo."
Okay. Can we move on to more important matters? Didn't you report your new assistant, the shoplifter, to human resources?
No, I didn't have to. She quit, and I thought that was the end of it. And then I received another message this morning.
Call the police!
I did. What can they do?
Figure out who it
Well,
is.
they have other priorities.
Everyone is misbehaving. Civility is at a lost art. Do you know I have one of my patients that's been sexually harassing me for weeks? Yesterday, she comes into my office wearing no underwear. This young lady sits on a chair and all pins her legs.
Okay, refer her to another therapist.
Oh, yeah, I can handle her, but I can't handle a woman I'm still married to. And do you know that when she calls me, she tells me I'm the love of her life. But the next day she'll call me and she'll tell me I'm good for nothing.
Okay, that's cruel.
Well, Clara's not cruel. I mean, not really. She's angry, frustrated, disappointed, but she has every right to be. I never gave her what she wanted. A baby. I mean, I tried. I really tried, but after a year of us trying to get pregnant, we ended up at the fertility clinic. Test results come in, and oh no, it's not my wife that's having problems. I'm the one shooting blanks. After a while, she said no to sex. Pleasure wasn't even a reason to have sex anymore. Well, not with me anyway. She chose my colleague in front for that. That man does not limp.
Okay. Hey, you're a good man.
Yeah, I got a limp.
Nonsense. It's barely noticeable. You're good looking. Well, you're strong. You're energetic, capable, vigorous.
I can't drive. I'm spasmodic. Clara hated having to drive me to work.
Okay, is Clara giving you more pain or pleasure?
No. Can it be both?
Clara, she makes promises she can't keep.
See, if I take skill, a skill I don't have, Tina.
Okay, as a therapist, you help food addicts, right? You help drug addicts, you help sex addicts. You stop people from making choices that cause more harm than good. So why can't you do the same thing for yourself? Look for another partner.
What is this, roles reversed? It's not up for discussion.
Take control of your future. Look for another partner. A man like you has options. It's different for me.
Yeah, but dating takes guts. Guts I don't have.
All right. You know, you keep insisting that I look for another partner, but you refuse to do it.
Well, the probability of finding someone to love increases exponentially if you don't leave it a chance.
Okay. So, what exactly am I supposed to wear on a first date? Sexually suggestive clothing? Stilettos? Fuck me shoes? Nah, out of the question. What's a woman supposed to wear to get a man to say ti amo? Lace and pearls?
Well, to survive in the urban jungle as we do, we don't need protection from the wild animals. What we do need is protection from those out to get us. Wearing leather crocodile fuck me shoes might make you feel less vulnerable.
Well, honestly, fuck me shoes or please love me shoes, they both exude desperation.
Hey, it's natural to want to fuck. It's natural to want to be loved. There's nothing pitiful about our animal drive to find a compatible mate.
No, I can't. I mean, I'm not brave. A robin is a robin, an eagle is an eagle. You can't just pretend to be something that you're not. I'm a widow, I'm a mother, and I'm a low-level government employee.
You're smart. You're down to earth.
I drive a car, but it doesn't make me a Formula One race car driver.
Well, let's get one thing straight. You don't need to be perfect to be loved.
A younger woman can get away with a few extra curves.
A woman with curves is a lot like a musical instrument. The double bass. Now, to a non-musician, the double bass annoyingly takes up a lot of space. But to a double bass player, oh my God, it takes up a life of its own. It's like a magical instrument. Proverbial thing of beauty.
Truthfully, just thinking of going on a date, never mind doing it, it makes me feel like I'm having a panic attack.
Well, do's and don'ts of first dates. A, be yourself. B, be yourself. C, for the life of me, I can't. Be yourself.
Looking for love comes with risks.
In a year from now, you'll be saying, sono innamorata.
How can you be so sure?
Well, you can't be a therapist and not suffer from the mountains.
Oh, darling, you can leave me. I'll never make it alone. Believe me when I beg you, don't ever leave me alone.
What is it today?
Oh, cotoletta and melanzane sandwich.
Oh, my favorite. Oh, I wish I could have some.
Well, here, have some.
Wishful thinking. I'm a ghost, remember?
Right.
So, have you decided?
Not yet.
Dr. Marino insists you do without me.
No, you know what? I can't, and I won't.
You were never attracted by Italian men, then suddenly this Dr. Marino Frankie boy comes around and you can't resist him.
Okay. He's a friend.
Spend more time with your girlfriends and less time with a man who's on the hunt for romance.
Well, not with me, he isn't. He recommended I join an online dating site.
Either he's a therapist or a matchmaker, he can't be both.
Dr. Marino has a head on his shoulders.
And a dick.
I need water, food, and sex.
Use a sex toy.
Oh, don't bully me.
Go ahead, paint me as a villain, say goodbye and get it over with.
You know, Dr. Marino has a point. I can't keep living in the past. I can't be in love with a dead person.
Why not?
You're a figment of my imagination.
Oh, that's rather arrogant of you to think you could conjure such a vivid representation of a man you once loved.
When I look in a mirror, I see myself. I can't see you.
When was the last time you looked at yourself in a mirror? You avoid them like the plague.
Okay. Yes. Martyrs can more easily tolerate being burned at the stake than I can tolerate looking in the mirror. They suffer for an ideal I don't. Haha.
To her is human, to be vain even more so.
You know what you are? You are a bulldozer. You just keep bulldozing your way into my life. No, you're a bulldozer. You know it and I know it. But I'm the most important part. I'm the power that drives you.
I overpower you with this.
A valuable antique.
The first time I laid eyes on you, I knew then I wouldn't like you. I would love you.
And less than a week later, you kindly asked me to undress.
And you did it.
And a month later, I invited you to meet my parents. That didn't go very well, did it? No. As soon as you left, my father said, I should never see you again. You had terrible manners, you're a foreigner, not to be trusted.
You can accuse me of being anything, but I was a good son-in-law.
Yeah, you were.
I even took Italian lessons.
Yeah, you speak Italian much better than I do for some reason, but just the same, you are not one of us.
You can speak Italian, but you can't speak up for yourself.
I speak up for myself, I just don't bite. My father does.
Oh, come on. If you were a vampire with fangs, I would understand. But your father's just an old guy who wants what's best for his daughter.
Okay, the world he grew up in, it's not the world I grew up in. I'm as much a foreigner as you are.
Don't underestimate yourself.
You know, my father, he sees my flaws and he's so quick to point them out. And you, the fool that you were, you saw me as flawless.
Oh, don't kid yourself. I saw your flaws. Your flaws didn't define you. They made you fragile and more precious in my eyes.
You know, when you were around, I didn't worry about my safety. I never thought of getting an alarm system installed. Well, a couple weeks ago, I had one installed, and guess what? I wake up vulnerable. Loneliness is like a thief. It sneaks in through the bedroom window, and it overpowers me. I wake up anxious.
Yeah.
You know, when you were around, I didn't worry about getting my father's approval. I didn't worry about being Italian. And now, I don't know. I find myself uprooted, lost.
Listen, you can't complain about your father's lack of love. Play the victim. What will that get you?
Peace of mind?
You can't get peace of mind by playing the victim.
But had my father loved me, I wouldn't be such a mess.
Animals know how to be parents. They don't have to read self-help books on how to do it. They do it by nature. It's pre-coded. But for humans, it's complicated.
I don't think it is, because I loved our children unconditionally before they were born. Before I knew what they looked like, before I knew what their personalities were like, I loved them.
But you can't help but to love your own flesh and blood. You love them because they're yours and for no other reason. You love them as you love the sun and the moon and everything else that Mother Nature never is described.
I love the sun and the moon and the stars. I love them when I see them, and I love them when I don't. The sun and the moon and the stars, they provide us with what's essential in life. So do children.
Absolutely.
If my father had loved me the way we loved our children, I wouldn't be afraid of joining an online dating site.
You have me.
It's not enough.
So you decided?
I'm a widow. I'm not legally bound to you.
Stop and think. Why are wills made? To protect the rights of the dead. The dead, whether they decide to hang out as ghosts or whether they decide to cross over to the other side to play tennis or golf or whatever it is that they do, and don't ask me what they do because I haven't decided to cross over yet, have the law on their side.
Okay, so are you in between worlds?
Are you asking me how dead I am?
Are you a puppet on a string?
Kid yourself, I'm more than the sum of my parts.
Yeah, the man I married defied the rules.
Well, so do I.
Huh. Actually, no. You're not him.
Who am I then?
Someone who resembles him.
Oh, you decided you don't want me hanging around anymore. Get out of your way. You have a therapist to talk to these days.
Okay, Dr. Marino's not my therapist, he's a friend.
Well, a friend is technically a therapist, pro bono.
Only lawyers take on pro bono cases.
Well, the non-pro bono, non-lawyer likes you.
Okay, he was married to the most beautiful woman in the world. Why would he be interested in me?
Do you love him?
You know, you always had this wild imagination.
Having a wild imagination is a prerequisite for having a great sex life and a great marriage. You can't have one without the other.
What is it you want?
Stop seeing this man. He gets paid by the hour like a whore.
You know what? My husband would never have said such a thing.
Do you love him?
Loving a therapist is no less toxic than loving a ghost.
It's either him or me.
Are you giving me an ultimatum?
Yes.
You know what? You were a fool for loving me.
I didn't fool you into I wasn't a fool for loving you. I fooled you into loving me.
Well, maybe I can fool Dr. Marino into loving me.
Therapists are good friends for hire, not husbands for hire.
I need clean air, water, food, and love.
There are 7 ways to become self-reliant.
Which are?
Well, not falling in love with a therapist tops the list.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Arrivederci.
Oh, you say goodbye? Well, I say hello. You say goodbye, and I say hello, hello, hello.
You say yes, I say no. You say stop, I say don't go. Oh no, you say goodbye, I say hello.
Again, how many times do we have to go through this, Clara? I know, I get it. Oh, this is gonna be the end of it, right? All right, can I call you tomorrow? Not even, amazing. All right, so, shut up.
Hey,
Uh,
I don't like it when you're sad. Here,
yeah. It makes you think I'm sad.
aren't you?
The more we know, the less we know.
Okay. You avoid answering personal questions.
An occupational hazard.
I confronted the hospital sous chef and asked him straight out if he had sent the anonymous letters to you, and he denied it.
Why wouldn't he?
The man has no idea who you are, and as for giving you the finger, he gives it to everybody.
Okay. Well, I received a road sign in the mailbox this morning. It said, danger, high voltage.
Who would do such a thing?
I don't know. You know, I used to carry holy pictures in my wallet. I didn't have an earthly father who loved me, so I imagined someone in the other world would support me. I wish I still had those holy pictures.
Yeah. Let's get one thing straight. Just because Italian fathers don't appear to be emotionally available doesn't mean that they are. My father never gave me bear hugs, but he gave me something much more valuable. He showed me how to stand up for myself. He said I can choose to be pitied or picked on, or I can choose to show strength. I chose the better option, and that's why I'm a therapist.
Yeah. You know, therapists, they're lay priests of sorts. I think it's easier to find God in a therapy room than it is in a church. Because therapists, they help you see your flaws and accept them. Priests, they want you to get rid of your flaws, stop sinning, or risk censure. Therapists, I mean, you offer forgiveness without conditions.
Yeah, well, the trick to forgiveness is not to accept anything at all. Expect nothing in return, and you'll free yourself. Giving up power, surrendering, accepting things you can't control, stops anxiety in its tracks. You know, turn another page, chapter in your life. No more self-doubts.
Right. Like, I can't imagine having sex with anyone besides my late husband. I mean, how pathetic is that?
Tina, there's nothing pathetic about it at all.
That's what he meant to me.
Well, if you feel, you know, that we can't keep going on, it's like we can't keep talking about this, you know.
Yeah.
But what did he mean to you, you know?
He meant everything to me, like my father, and just the two of them.
Well, you can't expect the dead to be visiting you when they're not around, you know, it's, I don't know, Tina.
Yeah. These coffees were no good.
Yeah, that's terrible coffee. Look, Tina! Keeps happening all the time. Oh, Clara. Oh, no.
Truthfully, we don't need coffee. And I have to tell you something, like, I went on a date this past week, right? With the young man I went on a date with, and he was so sweet and he was so nice, but honestly, I felt like he was doing me a favor.
So you're dating now?
Well, yeah, you insisted I do it.
Did I?
Yes, you said the best way to get rid of an old flame is to meet a new one.
Did I?
Okay. You know what? You're my therapist. If you were my therapist, this woman would be in a better position to discuss the ins and outs of her dating life, but no, you are just a colleague.
I thought I was more than just a colleague.
Okay, fine. You're a colleague and a friend.
That's it?
Okay, well, truthfully, around here you're known as Dr. Feelgood. Yeah, all right. Linda in the radiology department, she has her eye on you, as does her assistant. And Teresa on the 5th floor, forget. She's determined to ask you out on a date.
Well, how about that? You know, in high school, nobody wanted to date me. I was everybody's friend, but nobody's girlfriend. Boyfriend. I was the guy with the lip.
Well, you know what? Teens can be cruel.
Yeah, well, in university, the girls are more accommodating, but not all that much. This one time, a cheerleader pushed me against the fence and pulled on her panties. It was not to entice me, it was to give me an anatomy lesson. The rumor had it that I was a virgin, and she wanted to educate me.
Pussy power isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Okay, being bullied is no joke.
Resistance is not futile.
You know, the past, it offers pleasure, the present pain. The future is, well, it's undetermined. It's actually full of chaos. And truthfully, I can't forgive my husband for dying.
Well, you can give it a go, you know, and just try to be the woman that you are, that the man had left you to become. But these are the challenges we face constantly. But Clara told me that, well, she didn't want to talk to me on the phone. And eventually, she's going to leave me for my friend and colleague. Man is a burden on my spine, I tell you that.
You are not spineless. You have strength of character.
I allow women to walk all over me.
That's ridiculous. You've got a lot. All right? You got to stop seeing yourself that way. That's the past.
Yeah, but with the past, we become who we are. We can't let go. I can't certainly let go of Clara. I mean, with everything that I've been through. I don't know, Tina.
You honestly, you don't sound like yourself today.
There's something I've been meaning to ask you.
What is it?
Do you like me?
What? What just happened?
Do you like me?
Do you like me?
Well, who wouldn't like you?
Well, you're answering a question with a question. That's a cop-out.
Yes, I like you.
How much?
Too much.
Too much?
Well, it's all or nothing for me. I don't want a short-term affair.
Nor do I, but why an affair with me?
I like the way you think.
I like the way you smile.
Dare I say it?
Dare to be brave.
But saying ti amo is a lazy man's way to a woman's heart.
This morning I got out of bed and I pulled the blinds and I imagined how amazing it would be if you were standing next to me, looking out the window, taking in the sunshine.
If Clara knocked on your door, would you take her back?
She has a key to get in.
can't let Clara stay with you.
Well, you let Tom in.
Don't ask me to stop loving my husband.
That's not what I meant.
What is it then?
You have to stop seeing yourself as a married woman.
Don't ask me to remove my ring. Can I?
I want you to remove your ring.
But it's precious.
So it's our relationship.
Are we in a relationship?
Kiss.
Kiss him and I vanish into thin air.
I can't think straight. Everything's blurry.
I think. Act. Act.
Ah, shit. I knew we'd come to this.
Hey, you let her in.
Well, Clara allowed herself in, and the house is in both our names.
No. You said it was over between the two of you.
Tina, it is.
Then be the one who leaves the house.
I can't just pack up my things and leave. I grew up in that house. My parents got it for us as a wedding gift.
Okay, is it the house you're emotionally invested in, or is it Clara?
Oh, okay. Okay. You said you would remove your wedding ring, and you haven't. You said you would remove the framed photos of your late husband hanging on the walls of your house. You haven't. You still have his guitar lying on the bed, the very bed we made love to.
Okay, let's not compare living with Casper the Friendly Ghost to living with a Swedish beauty queen.
My love, we're sleeping in separate bedrooms.
You know, fucking can be done anywhere, any place.
There may be 7 ways to achieve orgasm, but doing it on a wobbly kitchen table that can barely hold the weight of a roundly tiny loaf of bread isn't one. The question is, my love, do you love me, Mia?
I'm losing control.
Losing control is free. That's why alcohol is so popular. Drink up and may the beast be with you.
Right, okay, so is dating a man who's still living with his wife about gaining control or losing it?
Is the glass half full or half empty? You know the correct answer to that.
The question is, do you love me?
You need to trust me, and then I will.
Okay, so another condition. Well, what's next on the list?
Well, okay. I don't want to ask you to change the color of your hair or the color of your panties. Oh, okay. I simply want you to change the color of your outlook. Don't be blue, Bella. I'm yours, not Clara's.
You know, I'm just curious, Will, have you filed for divorce?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, that hurts.
Don't get riled up. Please be patient. Love you, good Bella.
You know, I used to like whatever this is, your cockiness, but now...
In my line of work, I have to appear confident to appear what I am. And that could be mistaken for arrogance or, as you say, cockiness.
Tell me what I want to hear.
I love
Not good enough.
you. I'm at a loss for words.
Will you and your wife get back together? You loved her once? You could love her again.
Okay. Any man can make a mistake. Only a fool keeps making the same one.
Yeah.
The past is a done deal. The future is up for negotiations. That's why soothsayers and economic forecasters are such in high demand.
That's not nice.
I don't need to be nice. I need to be clever.
Then be clever. Tell me.
You are the love of my life.
I may be the love of your life, but on last count, actions speak louder than words.
Well, in that case, the father of Clara's unborn child has decided to do his duty and marry her.
Okay, well, good. Well, shotgun weddings are all the rage this season, thank God.
Hold your horses.
Wait a minute, no shotgun wedding? No destination wedding? No walking down the aisle? No splitting assets?
The groom-to-be-in-waiting believes I knocked up the bride-to-be-in-waiting.
Could it be you?
I wish.
I never should have agreed to kiss you.
You did more than kiss me. You begged me to.
Right, okay, don't remind me.
Pleasure should be part of the human rights code.
Some people, they see sex as a guilty pleasure, but there is no pleasure in guilt.
No.
No.
Picking up a pint of ice cream may appear to be a guilty pleasure, but you can see it's not. Neither the eater nor the eaten shall experience guilt.
You can't be Italian and not experience guilt.
Well, either the pasta's overcooked or undercooked. It's never just right.
Why would you choose me over a perfect 10?
Well, the perfect 10 lacks empathy.
Is it?
Well, you're honest, and she isn't.
She's a surgeon. What am I? I'm working automation.
Why are you so hard on yourself?
Because I'm not good enough.
Incorrect. You are good enough. You're
Okay.
absolutely magnificent.
Ask my father if I am.
Why do you have a constant need to please your father?
Well, this might be the last year of my life, and I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Ti amo, I love you.
There it is. I said it. You want more. Besides, there could be 7 other ways to say ti amo, and not one of them include the spoken word.
My husband, he used to tell me he loved me half a dozen times a day.
Yeah, well, your husband, your late husband, wasn't a real Italian, and you know it.
Hey, I received another message this morning. It said, you can be struck by lightning on the street or in your home. You can be struck by lightning by taking out the trash or making toast. Every year, 2,000 people die by being struck by lightning. You could be next.
The greatest risk of being struck by lightning is in a wooded area. You live downtown.
Yeah, but I think lightning can enter your home through the electrical wires, through the plumbing tubes.
Call the police.
I did. What can they do? They're stumped.
You know, my father, he knew how to handle bullies.
Yeah. Your father, he taught you resilience, strength of will.
Yeah, he taught me how to kick ass. You know, anytime somebody would make fun of the way I walk, he'd go up to that bully and tell him, if you don't kiss up to my son, I'm gonna break your arms and your legs.
Did he ever make good on his threats?
Well, he didn't have to. He drove a pickup truck. The tools of the trade were all there to see. Sledgehammers, shovels, hedge cutters, pitchforks, saws.
You see? Bad things happen. The world doesn't come to an end.
Yeah? You call it Papa.
Papa. Well, if I knew who was sending me these threatening messages, I would love your Papa to come and rescue me.
Well, hire a private investigator.
I can't afford it.
Nor can I, but Clara can.
Oh, that's wonderful. The rich, they can afford to be generous.
Don't denigrate my wife.
There. You said it again, wife.
The woman is about to give birth. Do you want her to raise the child as a single mom? Have mercy.
You know, once you see this little baby, you're going to decide you make a perfect little family.
Ina, you should have more faith in me.
Contrary to popular wisdom, it's not the parents who tie the child to the apron strings, it's the child who does the honors.
Well, some divorcees stay friends.
Yeah, you're not divorced.
Not yet. And now, who was that saint that your father used to pray to?
When my father found out I was dating a married man, He said I should make a prayer to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes.
Hey, Jude. There it is. You know Jude in Italian is Judah. Need I say more? Carrying a prayer book may not offer as much protection as carrying a handgun. But practically speaking, a prayer book is more cost effective.
You see, you don't take us seriously.
My love, I do.
Are you certain?
I'm certain that the sun will rise tomorrow.
Have you told Clara about it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, don't worry. Consider it done, baby. Just be happy.
English translation, please.
You are the sunshine and the love of my life.
Okay, something was lost in translation.
Stop whining, babe. You know, dealing with the marriage breakup made me sad. Incredibly sad. Sadness is not an obstacle to falling in love, but to knowing that you are. I really regret taking so long to tell you the other.
Are you admitting you loved me long before spouting the words ti amo?
Well, there may be 7 ways to say ti amo, and not one of them include the Indo-European language.
Okay, list them.
Oh yeah? Okay. Well, when I am on my phone, well, no, when I'm talking, you don't plug your phone, you pay attention. When I'm complaining, you don't complain that I'm always complaining, which I often am. You empathize. Right? When we're out dancing with friends, right, you show me affection. You don't criticize me. When I do something stupid, which is incredibly rare, you brush it off. You don't give it a 3rd degree. And when you, my love, do something stupid, also incredibly rare, you admit it. You relinquish the need to have the final word. And when I'm having a super fantastical day, and you aren't, I'm sorry, you have to allow me to gloat. And when I want to make love, you allow me.
Oh, I allow you.
You allow me to tense you.
Is that it?
Well, there could be 7 other ways to say ti amo, but wouldn't you rather take me out to dinner?
That's upside down.
Tina, my love, there is something that I need to tell you.
Okay, what is it?
To be a good therapist, you have to be good at keeping secrets. Plus, you can't get offended by what your patients tell you. You have to put on a mask, be polite, and be tolerant of bad behavior.
Therapists have perfected the art of lying. They're tricksters, charm artists, charlatans, encouraging their patients to believe it's okay to be what they are when it's not. Dina, this man will break your heart.
What is it?
Okay. There's a word that describes for what happens between a therapist and his patients, right? It's called the transference. You know, both parties get emotionally involved in each other's life, and it causes confusion.
Therapists regularly fall for their patients and then blame it on transference to cover their ass.
Don't tell me you're having an affair with one of your patients.
This man will break your heart.
What? No, I'm definitely not having an affair with one of my patients.
Ah, meno male.
Tina, I know who's been sending you hate mail.
Ooh, a therapist and a detective.
Who done it?
One of my patients.
Do I know her?
Maybe. Oh, she definitely doesn't like you. Plus, when she saw us together, oh, it made things worse.
There you have it. Jealousy is as common an ailment as the common cold.
It's that young woman who comes to your office without any underwear on, isn't it?
Oh, I can't tell you.
Well, why not?
Breaking patient-doctor confidentiality can result in the loss of one's license, one's job,
Okay, but you could have warned me.
and risk being sued.
Well, I can keep a secret.
Secrets make for good bedtime stories.
This young woman, she came to me to be treated for astrophobia, the fear of thunder and lightning. She said every time it would rain, she'd be worried that a lot of lightning would do her in.
Yeah, so did I.
She leveled the playing field.
Well, I mean, CBT is generally effective in treating phobias.
Is she cured?
She's doing much better, and she promised she would not be sending any more hate messages.
What if she does?
Well, confidentiality can be broken in the interest of public safety. I can report it to the police, should I?
Have her chilled.
Okay, well, but honestly, patients, they need to be able to talk about private matters. They need to feel safe. They need to know that what they're discussing in the room, it's not going to leave. No, I'm sorry, you can't rat on her.
Oh, you're an angel.
No, I'm a doormat with wings.
Tina, as a therapist, I consistently have to put my patients' needs in front of my own. It's my job. I have no choice. When it comes to the woman I love, you, I choose to put your needs in front of you. That's the difference. That's the difference. I'm a free agent. Making you happy makes me happy.
There it is. Altruism has a magical component to it.
Well, bearing the unbearable is part of my job, not yours.
Yeah. You know, your patient, she's not a threat to me. But your wife is.
Oh, well, in that case, I file for divorce.
Really?
You can say the earth is flat, it doesn't make it so.
Your father even offered to pay for the lawyer. He said, "Voglio che mia figlia sia felice." I want my daughter to be happy.
Italians make it a point of making their kids feel miserable, inadequate, thinking this will motivate them to scale the ranks. And that's just when the kids are thoroughly unlovable. When they feel completely unlovable, they hand them envelopes stuffed with cash.
My father has helped me throughout the years, and not just with money gifts. I mean, my father, he redid my porch, he replastered the walls. He's unclogged my kitchen sink more times than I can count. I mean, he must really love me, you know? Like, my husband, the famous Dr. Tom Dixon, wasn't so handy.
Well, ask me how many professors it takes to screw a light bulb, and I'll say, screw you.
Well, you know, Italians prove to the world that you don't have to say a word to get ahead. You know, if you can work with your hands, you've got it made.
Yeah. Love, it's a 4-letter word, but you don't have to say it for it to have an impact.
Yeah, well, everything changes, you know. My father, growing up, he did plenty for me. And after he retired, he said, "Son, me, I mowed a lot of lawns for you in my life, and especially yours. Now it's time for you to mow your own." And that's when I volunteered to do this. You see, Tina, father's father, and after it's the sons who father the father. Roles get reversed. We all need a bit of fathering, a bit of babying.
Everything's changed. Clara had a baby.
Yeah. I always wanted to be a father. I was expected to be a father. I always imagined that I would be a father.
This man will break your heart.
Clara's telling everyone you are the father of the baby.
Yeah. Well, my parents, my siblings, my colleagues, even my hairstylist said I was the father. And I let them believe it.
Why did you?
Everyone lies. If you lie to your face, everyone lies by omission.
Well, now that you have a baby that everyone thinks is yours, are you and Clara going to get back together?
Tina, that's what I love about you. You don't lie. You know, when adversities happen, and adversities inevitably do happen within a course of a relationship, you tell it how it is.
You know, lies, they stop the world from falling apart. Lies stop wars. Lies stop feuds. Lies can keep families together.
This man will break your heart.
It's not how it is.
Then how is it? Out with it. Spill the beans.
All right. Clara has offered me an ultimatum. Either I lie to the court and say that I am the biological father, or she will not grant me joint custody.
All right, but Clara's baby needs a father. You could be it.
Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
I think the road to heaven is unpaved. And paved, unpaved, a road, it's useful. You know, you always wanted to be a father. This is your chance, take it.
The problem is I don't trust Clara, so what is that? Where does that leave me? Am I a winner or a loser, a villain or a hero? You know?
I said it before, I'll say it again. You're a good man.
Yeah, but Clara should like to take charge. Every time she'd want to go out, we'd go out. If she wanted to watch one movie and I wanted to watch another, we'd end up watching the one she wanted to watch. You know, at the beginning of our relationship, she said she liked the fact that I never challenged her. But then when she walked out on me, she called me spineless.
You're not spineless.
I allow women to have their way with me.
Ah, no, you have strength of character.
Yeah, we trick ourselves into thinking that if we don't have children, our expiration date's gonna get extended.
Hey, you don't sound like yourself today.
Oh, I said I like Clara back,
You know, there was a time you were certain you would take Clara back. What's changed? Explain it.
Clara, she's perfect and I'm not.
Okay. So what you're saying is basically, I can't forgive my husband for dying, and you can't forgive Clara for being too perfect. What a team.
Still, I can't give up the chance to be a father, can I?
Well, that's a decision you're gonna have to make.
I need to ask you something.
What is it?
It's been a while, but I've been meaning to tell you this. I need to come first.
But I lean on my husband.
The late husband.
Well, he better not ask you to put divorce your late husband on your to-do list, eh?
Please don't ask me to take off my wedding ring.
My love, Clara means nothing to me. Only the one thing I want you to trade one ring for another.
Don't do it.
What is it I'm being asked to do?
Love me, hate me. What is it? Marry me.
I give her all my love, that's all I do. And if you saw my love, you'd love her too. I love her.
Tom, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Francesco's gonna be here soon. I don't want you to be here.
Yeah, Francesco. Your future husband is not Dr. Marino anymore.
All right, what's true for one is not necessarily true for another.
Mundus vult decipergo decipiature. A Latin proverb. The world desires to be deceived, therefore it is.
The truth is bewildering to those who seek it, and just as bewildering to those who couldn't care less.
One doesn't decide between telling the truth and telling a lie. One chooses to do no harm. Doctors have to do it, so should everyone else. Often, to do no harm involves not telling the truth. One doesn't need to lie, one simply avoids telling the truth.
Is there a heaven?
Omnia mutantur, il nil interit. A Latin proverb. All change, nothing perishes. I am as I was.
Not exactly.
Well, you can't be dead and not turn into a ghost. It's the natural order of things from life to life. Love us or hate us, we're here for the long haul.
What if you shouldn't be?
Well, magic shows have disappearing acts. Reality shows know better than to kill off their main attraction. Wasn't I that for you?
You were that and more.
Dead or alive, you love me, and don't say you shouldn't.
Tell me the eighth way to say ti amo.
Not every question has an answer. What?
What is the eighth way to say ti amo?
You're right, I shouldn't be here.
You know, why not?
You're getting married next month.
Not if the groom-to-be decides it was an error in judgment in tricking me into loving him.
He didn't trick you, I did.
You did no such thing.
Oh, you were a student, I was your professor. I was supposed to abide by the rules of conduct. To think you were still a virgin. It intrigued me.
Yeah, you know, you did have a few tricks up your sleeve to trick me into loving you and to get me into bed with you. Before the first year was out, I was pregnant. I had to drop out. My father was furious.
Yeah, your father thought of me as a rake.
Yeah, but you changed.
Well, it takes a nice Italian girl to change a man, a bad man, into a lovable slob.
Everyone grows up.
Not necessarily by choice.
Why did you go swimming in a non-swimming area?
You're afraid. If you forgive me for dying, I'll be gone for good.
No. When your cat goes missing, you fear the worst, right? And then you find it napping in a cupboard. And then you're ecstatic because something tragic has been averted.
But something tragic has been averted. I am here with you.
Till death do us not part?
Oh, you need to be part of a couple and you can't be with me.
But ghosts, they don't come with expiration dates.
Oh, nor should happily ever afters, but they do.
When you were in my life was beautiful. Can't compare your first love to a second love. It's like comparing a warm day to a cold one, a sunny day to a rainy one.
First love, second love, third love, they're all one and the same. They all help one get on with the business of survival. Survival includes renewal. Renewal is part of the order of things. In order to survive, one needs to renew oneself with love.
You changed your tune.
The prerogative of a friendly ghost.
Call it character development?
Well, haven't you heard? Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous nor boastful.
Haven't you heard? The truth will set you free. Why did you go swimming in a non-swimming area?
Every good marriage involves cover-ups. Think about it. Brides wear wedding veils. Why would they do it unless they have something to hide?
A young maid fears becoming an old one, and an old one hopes the best is yet to come.
Well, is truth a life jacket or a straight jacket?
I said it before, I'll say it again. Life, it's a puzzle, and we all get thousands of pieces to play with. And every time someone you love dies, hundreds of pieces go missing. But if you live long enough, you end up with a few random pieces, and then by the end of it, you're trying to figure out what it's supposed to look like when it's done.
What if not knowing what the final puzzle looks like is part of the game, huh? Playing is its own reward. One doesn't need to win to have fun.
Every Sunday, after lunch, you would play Scopa with my father. That he liked.
Yeah, well, he let me win more often than I care to admit.
At my father's insistence, I joined the bocce club, and as you can imagine, many of the members have been patients at the hospital where I work at, and they've sung my praises, and now my father, he sees me as they see me, as a woman of honor. It's made a difference. It's made a big difference in our relationship.
I never doubted your father loved you.
Explain.
If you said it, I shouldn't be here.
Why not?
But you know very well why not. These meetings need to stop.
I need you to be here. You remind me what it's like to be young, and that's magical.
turn to the mirror and prepare to feel inadequate. The mirror will not help you. Help yourself. For a real tutorial on self-reliance, grow vegetables.
I'd rather turn to you.
Accept that you're just a combination of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Accepting that you're just an average, often misunderstood, sentient being in this wondrous, colorful universe of ours reduces anxiety.
Good counsel.
It's easy to love the dead. The dead will say whatever you want them to say. No put-downs, no speeches.
Don't underestimate yourself.
Give me up.
I will cling to you as if my life depended on it.
Well, keep seeing me in the marriage with Dr. Feelgood is off.
A calculated risk.
Oh, you choose to be unfaithful?
That's not what I said.
What did you say?
I have the right to be loved by the living and the dead.
What if Dr. Feelgood objects?
Why would he? I mean, talking to ghosts is therapeutic.
Well, come on. Just tell me one thing that Dr. Feelgood does better than I do. And it better not be you know what, eh?
Well, when we go for a walk, he holds my hand. And he turns off his phone. That you did not do.
I imagine you would have said he bought you flowers.
He does. Not as often as I'd like, but he does. And he leaves little post-its all around the house with the words Ti amo written on them.
Sweet nothings.
Declarations of dependence.
What if I give you an ultimatum, him or me?
You will do no such thing. You love me too much.
You miss me.
I miss you when I'm happy. Good days, bad days, I miss you.
Be frank, why are you marrying this guy?
When I'm with him, my hair can be a mess and it doesn't bother me because he loves my hair the way it is. When I'm with him, I appreciate the fact that I'm in good health.
Drink up a little dose of gratitude and la vita è bella, guaranteed.
I need your blessing for marriage number 2 to work.
Asking the dead for permission is akin to doing a rain dance expecting that it will bring a famine to a halt.
Rain dances, they inspire hope. Hope is the catalyst for change, new beginnings. How bright the sun is over there.
Sun speaks volumes.
Oh, sole mio.
There may be 7 ways to say goodbye, but 1,001 ways to say hello.
Buongiorno. Bonjour. Hola. Hi there.
Do you mind if I stay here until the sun goes down? Or he comes in.
Be my guest.
What you mean, be my ghost? I love you. Ti amo.
Do you think I can kiss you?
You can try. But close your eyes.
One day you will love to see I've done what tomorrow may bring, so I'll follow the sun. Someday you will find and winding road that leads to your door will never disappear. I've seen that road